Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dirt Trail Running Podcast. I'm Coach Lindsay, and we're joined with Coach Loretta as always. And yeah, we just wanted to hop on here and talk about lots of different topics, but starting out with the incredible Rachel Intrican win at Cocodona 250. I mean, how amazing was that?
That is just incredible. She beat the course record by what, over 6 hours?
Yeah, something
Insane.
insane, beat everyone else, first overall. I mean, what a true accomplishment. And everyone that I've talked to that was out there in some form or another, one of my athletes was running and saw her run by and just said that she looked fresh, like just looked like she was out for a run, which is really cool.
Right, right. And she just seems like a really cool person, seems
Hmm.
super friendly. And
Yeah,
what I really caught my attention was she finished this huge race and she was full of energy. She was
yeah,
talking and she was cheering other people on and she was
yeah,
just, you would have never guessed that she had had a very teeny tiny bit of sleep in the last
yeah.
56 hours. It was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I know how grumpy I get after like a couple hours, a day
Yes.
without sleep. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, at the end of 100, I'm ready to like be away. It's like, let me just go get my jammies on and go rest.
Exactly. Yeah, no, totally. And something that stuck out to me, because, we were all glued to this live feed, and something that really stuck out to me was that they were talking about how long she has been running ultras. I'm not sure how old she is, maybe somewhere around my age is what
Yeah,
I
I
would
think
guess.
34, maybe, I think I saw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And she had been running ultras for a very long time, like for
Oh,
the
I didn't
last
realize that.
decade.
Okay.
And it just goes to show, like, and she had a normal job, like everything was, but it goes to show that it's never too late to really go for it. And if
Right.
you've got a dream and a passion and you think that you can do something, it's not too late. She's young, but she's also been doing this a long time, and we're just now hearing her name left and right, so it's
Right.
really cool. And then to win something like this is huge when you've been putting in the work with ultras for a long time, like a lot of
Right.
us. So that's cool.
And I'm sure a lot of people have seen the social media posts that she talks about why not me, which I just love. Like, because I
Hmm.
think we all kind of hear that inner voice when we're out doing something that's hard and we're,
Yeah.
trying our best. And she was talking about, being at mile 50 and like in the lead and
Yeah.
doubting herself, like, why should I be
Yeah.
here? Is this a bad spot for me to
Yeah.
be? And then she finally just kind of switched that around and said, why not me? Why can't
Why
it?
not me?
Yeah, and then,
Yeah.
it is hard because that does play in your head, right? When you're out there.
Yeah.
Just a few weeks ago when I ran Calhaven, that was my thought too. Like,
Right.
I mean, second guessing myself the whole way. Like, am I going out too fast? Is this a bad decision?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Even if you plan on it, it kind of like does this little mind trick where like you planned on your pace, you've planned that you can hold this. But if you find yourself out in the front, you're like, whoa, like maybe I shouldn't be here. But
Right,
actually, like, no, she trained for that. She trained to be out front. It just was that no one else was with her. So what are you gonna
right.
do? You gotta run your race.
Absolutely. And everything just,
Yeah.
in these big races, it takes everything to fall together and everything just
Yeah.
so aligned perfectly for her to be able to pull off such a great performance. I did have an athlete that
Absolutely.
did the Mingus 80, which is part of the
Hmm.
Cocodona course, and she
Yeah.
finished. Her name is Jessie
Awesome.
Martin, and
So
she said it
cool.
was a super hard event, but she loved it. So didn't you have somebody out
Amazing.
there too?
Yeah, I had Jeff Dees doing the Sedona Canyons 125. So they started Wednesday and he crushed. I mean, he was
Nice.
amazing. And I talked to him this morning and just, got to hear all of his hallucination stories, which is always
Nice.
fun.
Yep, yep. And
But
is
that
he
was
from the
his first,
Midwest?
like, yeah, he lives
Okay.
in, I don't want to misspeak, Indiana, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, he comes to all the Ornery Mule races and, he knows Lily and is
Nice.
always, meeting people and volunteering at races. So yeah, it was really cool to see. Like, I mean, we really utilized stairs. We used everything that we possibly could, and he like
Yep.
truly leaned into the training, like I'm sure your woman did as well.
Yep.
And
Yep.
goes to show like you can train in the Midwest and go
Yes.
run something like in the Cocodona course. So just, you got to
Absolutely.
be committed to it, but you can
Yep.
do it.
Yep. She was repping from Wisconsin, and same
I
thing.
love
We
it.
were doing a lot of power hiking. We were doing a lot of single leg strength.
Hmm.
Box drops. You name it. Anything
Yeah.
we could to get ready for that climbing and descending, and replicating the best we can of what it's
Yeah.
like in Arizona. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
really cool. So I think
Yeah.
some things to talk about. These big events are happening, and let's talk a little bit about being prepared. When people are going into these events, like what are they thinking as far as their training and what makes them feel like they're
Hmm.
ready to step on the start line? And
Yeah. And show up ready. So I
yep,
was thinking about this too because I've got my race this weekend. I'm running Curl Jewel for
Oh,
the second
yes, yes.
time. And I remember last year, I mean, I kind of had this why not me too thing at the start. But because you always, it's a hard rock qualifier and you hear about these big, big races. And I'm like, did I do enough? Like, I know I'm a good runner, but did I do enough training? But I was confident. I'm like, I know I did enough. I'm going to show up, But what happens when, and I think we've all been there, where you show up to a start line where maybe you didn't put in the training that you know you should have.
Hmm.
Maybe you have an injury going into a race that you probably shouldn't line up for, or whether just life got in the way or you didn't take it seriously enough. Maybe you, like, I'm notorious for not looking at a course profile, but I at least know what I'm getting into.
Right, right,
Uh, but some people just, from the Midwest might sign up for Cocodona not knowing and, and then just show up only running on flat land or, something like very extreme cold or bad water, like all these like extreme circumstances. Like what what would make you not want to show up to a race? Like would you show up anyway? What are the risks with it?
right.
What's kind of your thoughts on it?
So I struggle with showing up underprepared. I'm like I like to be over prepared. So
Yeah.
I'm not normally going to show up to a race that's I'm not ready for.
Yeah.
But I do hear about people doing that. I hear about people getting to the start line and saying, I've been on start lines where people are like, I didn't do any training or I did really
Yeah.
a little bit of amount of training, and my gut kind of drops for them because I think,
Yeah.
wow, I wouldn't want to be in that position because these ultras, 50, 100 miles, 200,
Yeah.
250 miles, they're nothing to take lightly,
Right.
and all of the work that people do put in to be at these races and finish strong and successful is preparing their entire body to be ready to
Right.
handle that work, right? And if we don't
Right.
put that work in, what is that risk for us when we step on that
Yeah.
line?
I mean, best case scenario, it's a DNF, right?
Right. Yep.
And then worst case scenario, it's, a serious injury or possibly even worse.
Yep.
And, as much as we all love this sport, I don't think that there's any of us that want our life to end there. I
Right.
think we all want to come home to our families, or I don't think any of us truly want to get an injury that we, are going to take a ton of time off, affect your work, affect your family life, anything like that. So I really want to like just stress the importance of, yeah, show up to a race feeling prepared, I think like it's almost become like a badge of honor to like, oh, I didn't train for this, but I did it anyway. Like,
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
okay, maybe you can get lucky once or twice, but there's going to be a time when your body just is like, no, we should have trained for this.
Right. And nobody wants to end up in the hospital, into the race in the hospital.
No,
And then, when we go in underprepared, it takes our body a really long time to recover. It's already hard enough if we're prepared,
right.
but if we're not prepared, we're just doing so much damage to our tissue. And,
Yeah.
it's just really hard to get past that. So then now you have this huge setback to get ready to train for something else. So,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, if you aren't able to put the work in, and you're concerned about your health, maybe you wait and go to the next event. Or
Right.
if you decide to take on that event, I think we have to be really smart at listening to your body to decide
Hmm.
there's no shame in having to have a DNF, right? It's,
Right.
sometimes we have to make that hard call when things are starting to go bad, and it's
Yeah.
a concern for your health, because it's really not worth a risk for your health
No.
to be able to finish a race. And I
No.
feel like we have to be careful, like making people heroes for finishing,
Yeah.
when they're really maybe should have
Shouldn't
stopped.
have stopped.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that there's something so big about that. And I think we have to remember the only person that really remembers a DNF or a bad race is ourselves. Like,
yes,
I can't tell you when John Smith DNF'd. Like, I don't know. Like,
right,
I don't know what his time was on this race, that race. It just matters so much to us. But in reality, like, it's just us.
right.
Not to say that's not important, but you don't need to be performative in like finishing a race at all costs. Like your life matters more, your body matters more. Like
Yes,
this, as much fun as this is all of our hobbies. Like we all have a life too that we have to go to work. A lot of people, myself included, have more of a physical job. Like I can't just like completely fall apart. Like
right,
just
right.
I have to be able to, and oftentimes I go back to work like the day that I land. Like I'm like back at work, like, and a lot of people too, like just don't have a ton of time off. So like
Yes,
imagine just, what if you break your leg out on a trail and then you have to go, go
right,
back and try and work. And then it's like,
yep,
okay, now we're at square one. And then your hobby's taken away from you too. So we don't want that to be the case as well.
Right, right. You mean I'm a huge proponent of listening to your body, whether, that's through
Hmm.
the whole training cycle, through the whole race, and making smart decisions. Sometimes we need to have a crew or somebody that can hold us accountable to making some of those decisions, because
Hmm.
sometimes in a race, we're not able to make those decisions ourselves
Yeah.
because we're just too tired and we just don't even
Yeah.
know. So,
Yeah. Yeah, making any sort of decision when you're that tired is like rough. But yeah, I think that just, you see a lot of, people just, death before DNF and, like at all costs type of thing, which, is great. But, at the same time, like we really don't mean that. It
right,
sounds great
exactly.
on a t-shirt, but we really don't mean that.
Yes, yes.
We really
Or
don't
the
mean
old
that.
PR or ER.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. And you just have to be really careful because, as much as you can train for something too, sometimes your expectations just have to be adjusted. You could train, textbook to the T, listen to your coach, do your training, and then just for some reason your body is extra stressed that week or tired or
Yes.
sick, and you have to adjust expectations or the weather. Like I've had many of athletes that, completely have a meltdown when they see the temperature, and I'm like, okay, but we knew this. Like you can't
Right,
control everything. You control
right,
what you can control. A sub, whatever hour marathon's not going to happen. You have to be able, that's part of being an athlete is being adaptable. You've got to be
right,
able to adapt your goals based on the situation. But I think a lot of people have like a hard time dealing with that part as well.
right. I think so too. And I think that the other thing is we are out there and we're practicing our nutrition, our hydration, our electrolytes, we're practicing that in our long runs, but our long runs are never nearly as long as
Yeah.
a 50 mile or a 100 mile, right? Or 200
Right.
mile. So when you get out there, things might not go as planned. And,
Yeah.
and you might not even realize things are going south, right? But it's a really fine balance, especially with electrolytes, of making sure that you keep
Yeah.
that balance, because if you don't, you can get really sick from that. So,
Yeah.
keeping an eye on those signs and having, if you need to be checked out when you come into an aid station, making sure
Right.
everything is good, checking your urine is, like what color is it?
Yeah.
How do you have a bunch of swelling, your finger swelling, you're really bloated? Those are things that, I mean, you need to keep an eye on to try to make those adjustments to get yourself back equal, but too much water or not enough water, it can go either way, right? Or too much sodium,
Right.
not enough sodium. So I think that's a big mistake that a lot of people make because it's a really hard to find balance to
Yeah.
balance out. And I'm not trying to scare people, but it is something that it can be really serious and you can
Yeah.
into the hospital with it. So you need to, watch those signs. And I think another thing, rhabdo, it's real. It's a
Hmm.
thing that can happen during these races. So if you're out there racing and you're feeling sick, you're, feeling
Yeah.
signs that just don't feel right, it might be time to call it, or let's say you've just finished a race and you're having some of those weird symptoms,
Yeah.
vomiting or diarrhea, it might not be a bad idea to go get checked out. You may need an
Yeah.
IV. You might need a little bit of a hospital stay to get you back to where you need to be to get things balanced out because it can
Right.
be pretty frightening when that happens.
Yeah.
I've had it happen to some pretty experienced athletes that
Right.
practiced, knew what they were doing when they went in, and it happened early in a race by like mile 20.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's going to happen at mile 80. These things can come be unbalanced early. It just
Right. You don't
depends.
know.
Yeah.
I was actually just scrolling on Instagram and I saw somebody I don't follow, but it's just an influencer, so no one should know who they are, but not even a running influencer, but they were talking openly about how they almost died from rhabdo off of the half marathon. And my mind is like, did you train? Like, how did this happen on a half marathon? But
Right.
it can, like,
Yes.
it can. Lots of life goes into it before a race. Like, were you considering your hydration levels leading up to your race? Kind of all of those sorts of things. And then I have no idea what his training looked like prior, but they were sharing their experience and they were in the hospital with full on rhabdo from a half marathon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this can happen. I also know plenty of people that have passed out on marathons. Like it can happen on
Hmm.
short distances. We know these aren't
Right.
short distances, but a
Absolutely.
lot of us are like running, 100 miles and we think it can only happen late in a
Right.
race, but it can actually happen early. So you
Right.
really have to be, careful and on top of it. And then you start adding in extremes like a hot race or a
Yes.
race where people don't think about like I'm sure you had to deal with this too with your athlete at Cocodona. With my athlete, we had to think about elevation
Yes,
and
yes,
altitude. And so
yes,
we're like, okay, your body's going to need more liquid
yes,
to regulate. So then you have to factor in those parts of it. So yeah, there's so many different factors. Or in
right.
a cold race when you don't think you need to drink at all, and then all of a sudden you're in a really bad spot because you're underhydrated.
Right, right. And talking about cold, then there comes
Oh,
hypothermia, that can
yeah.
sneak up on you. And it doesn't have to be an extremely cold race. I was at a
Hmm.
race that the temperature was like 50 and it dropped into the 30s, but it
Yeah.
just dropped so fast and I was wet from sweating through
Yep.
the day and I had just a shorts and a tank top and
Mhm.
I was going hypothermic. I mean, it
Yep.
happened really quick. Not something that even crossed my mind that I should worry about that day because the temperatures weren't
Right.
that cold. So
Yeah.
it's weird. So it doesn't have to be completely extreme,
Hmm.
to get yourself into trouble, but it can happen quick. And at that point, you need to make some decisions about what's best for
Right.
your safety and for your health, I think.
Yeah.
Live,
And then
live
you
to
have
run
to
another
think,
day.
live to run another day. This is all something that we love to do. And then you don't want to risk your crew either. A lot of times on, remote races or rugged races, or just races where the aid stations are pretty far apart, you don't want to risk your crew being out there for too long waiting for you. Like your crew is out there for a long time as well. And they worry, like so many things can just happen. So go into a race feeling really strong and feeling confident, but then also once you're out there, make sure that you're making smart decisions
Right.
and make sure you're thinking about your health and your well-being first and foremost, because no finish line is worth not making it home for sure.
Right, absolutely. And the thing is if you go in and you do prepare, you're going to have just such a much better experience at that
Hmm.
race. You're going to feel better. It's going to not be such a grind to
Yeah.
get it done. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy because none of them are ever
No.
easy, but it does feel a lot better if you go in strong versus untrained.
Not. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I love that. There's no better feeling than like showing up to a race where you feel like I deserve to be here. I put in the work. I've done
Yes.
everything that I can, no matter the outcome. I know that I did what I, set out to do. I trained my hardest. And that's also just like a good accomplished feeling that we all want to feel. No one wants to feel underprepared going into a race. Like that's
Right.
terrible.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's terrible. For the most part, I have had a couple races here and there, but I race so often that, the races that I haven't been 100% prepared on, I have followed another race, so I'm okay. But I don't like showing up to like a 5K where I haven't trained speed, because
Hmm.
then you're showing up not your
So
best.
hard.
So why would you do it for longer distances?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do that a lot. I do show up to 5Ks undertrained on speed, but the consequences are pretty minimal. I just slow down and I'm done in
Right,
30,
right.
yeah, 30 minutes at worst case. But yeah, we want to just make sure everyone's, healthy and happy leaving the race and feeling so proud of themselves.
Right.
And I love, to me, the best feeling in the world is, no matter how long or how hard the race is, if you can finish it strong, that to me is like just the best feeling. Like,
Right.
when you just can push it home, the last 10 miles are just flying. Oh, it's the best.
Yep, yep. Another thing I love is if I've trained well, and I notice this in the athletes that I work with too, if they've had good, solid training, they come out of these races and they recover so much faster. They're
Yeah.
feeling better in the first few days than they typically would because they
Hmm.
hydrated well, they had good nutrition, and they were strong going in, right?
Right.
Their body was ready for it, their tissue was ready, everything was ready to go that
Yeah.
day. So it just allows our body to heal so much faster than if
Oh,
we
yeah.
are a bit undertrained.
Exactly. Yeah. And you want to be able to do that because, like, no matter how long our race is, like, all of us are like, I want to go run the next day. Like, okay, well, you need
Right.
a little recovery, but if you need a lot more recovery, you're going to be sidelined for quite a while. But yeah, we
Right.
all want to get back to doing our sport and what keeps us sane and happy as soon as possible.
Absolutely. And I think you can tell that in a training run too, right? If you
Hmm.
hydrate well, you have good fueling, have your electrolytes balanced, you recover so much faster.
So
So
much faster.
it's the same thing in a race, but times like 100, right?
Yeah,
So
times
you
a hundred.
can do it
Exactly.
and you're going to feel so much better about yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe just a few pointers on, or kind of walk yourself through. Let's say you have I don't know, maybe a 50-mile race. And about a month away. I feel like within a month, you know whether you're going to be ready or not.
Yeah.
Like you kind
Yep.
of know you can be honest with yourself. Like, have I put in the work, or am I about ready to start tapering, or am
Yes.
I going to be cramming right up until race day? That month mark, you'll know, and be honest with yourself. Like, should I show up, or should I maybe message and see my options if I can, defer, volunteer?
Or
To
drop
me,
down.
drop down. A lot of the fun of a race is just being there. So if I can't run a race, I love to volunteer or go cheer on a friend, see if someone needs a crew, that type of
Yes.
thing.
And people are always looking for pacers. So even if you haven't put in
Yeah.
all the work, you probably have enough in there to be able to pace.
Yep, exactly. Definitely. Well, let's talk about the other side of things, Loretta, because you are queen of, you train more than anybody I know.
Because I love training, but it's a double-edged sword.
But we cannot get you to a start line.
Exactly, because am
Although,
I ever prepared enough? So yeah.
exactly. But you did show up to a start line and you crushed recently.
Right, right.
And then we were just having the conversation the other night about if you should show up to another start line. And I'm like,
Right.
duh.
But
I
yeah,
think you message me when you want me to tell you to start.
yeah, it's like, okay, Lindsay, push me over the edge and say, yes, just do it.
I'm not going to tell you no.
I know
Because
that I feel like
I,
you're the person that won't tell me no.
yeah, because I know how much you train. Like you crush your training and your strength training, you're doing your running, like you do it all. So I know that you're not going in unprepared. But like
Right.
walk us through kind of your mentality of the other side of things.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the hard thing. So, I mean, I'm sure people that have listened to this, super type A, I'm perfectionistic,
Hmm.
I'm really hard on myself, which is interesting
Hmm.
because as a coach, I'm so much better on other people than my own self.
Yeah.
And so, I'm always second guessing, am I ready to be on that start line? Because I always want to perform at my best.
Yeah.
I have been doing a lot of thinking about that. Like I'm missing out on opportunities of racing because of that fear of stepping on the start line, feeling like I'm not prepared, when in
Hmm.
actuality, I'm prepared, probably
You're
over
prepared.
prepared, but I'm
Yeah.
always second guessing that, like, oh, if I only had a few more weeks to train, I could be better, right? And
Yeah.
then it just keeps pushing it out and pushing it out. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to change my ways.
Yeah.
And I think
And
part of
it's so
mine
much
came,
fun.
yeah, and I think part of mine came from having some little niggles over the last few years creeping in and giving me
Hmm.
self-doubt, right? Like
Right.
when you have things that have been bugging you and then you start worrying about getting on that start line, like, okay, is it going to start causing a problem when I get, into the race?
Right.
And that can be discouraging because then you're like, you don't want to have another DNF because
Yeah.
you're dealing with something.
Right. But at the same time, that's kind of like you don't know until you get there, right? Like if
Exactly. Yep.
yeah, if you've put in the work, then you gotta show up if you enjoy it. And I know you enjoy it because I've seen you race and do so well and all of
Right.
these things. So, and then like me, I just jump in the place that I live, I can race every single weekend. So
Right.
like I do because I love just being around
Yes.
everybody.
And I'm sort of so
Um,
jealous of you that you just can do that.
I know I don't plan anything. Like maybe a couple
Love it.
races a year I'll plan, but then there's just like a race every weekend. I'm like, oh, this one looks fun. This one looks fun.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, but and then you just kind of learn so much racing too. Like you're not always going to have a stellar race. Like it's just
Right.
not like life doesn't work that way.
Right.
But you can always learn something out there, which I
Absolutely.
totally love to do. And I love like trying new aid station foods. I love trying new gear. I love trying to push myself where I don't normally push myself. I love meeting, new people and all of that sort of thing. So it's just fun to be out and racing.
Right. Right. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
just
we'll see
have to
it.
let
We'll
some of
see
that
what you do.
perfectionism go, right?
Yeah, and it's so funny because I know that you're not like that with your athletes. Like you have a
Yeah.
lot of grace and you have a lot of, wiggle room for people, but we're often way harder on
Yes.
ourselves.
Yep.
And I know you're a type A person because do you want to take notes, Lindsay? No, we're not taking notes. I'm showing up. All my notes are in my brain. It's a good balance, yeah. But I
Right.
love like seeing both sides of that. So like you have on one side where like people maybe shouldn't show up to a race
Uh-huh.
undertrained,
Yep.
and maybe we need to be more honest and realistic with ourselves or drop down. I think that's such a good option. So many race directors will let you drop down. You just have to tell them before the race starts. Like
Right. Right.
they already have bought the medals. They want to give them away. They do not want to hoard their medals. It doesn't do them any good when there's a date on it if they cannot give it away.
Right, right. It's kind of
So,
now this like balance of risk takers, right?
yeah,
So, I do like to take risks because I do love to run ultras, right? So I
right.
do take risks, but then my risks are a little bit like I'm a little bit more conservative with them, right? Because I
Yeah,
really want to be prepared. And then there's some
yeah,
people that are going into the race and they're taking really big risks, right? They're like
right.
not prepared and I'm just going to really risk it. There are people that are going to go out and decide, I don't really know how fast I can run this race, but I'm willing to risk it
Yeah,
and push the start and maybe I'll blow up and maybe I won't. The
yeah.
people are going in with all different kind of mindsets. So
Mentalities.
yeah, so those people that are going in and they taking those big risks that are underprepared, maybe want to look at the risk versus the reward. Like, is the re
Right.
risk worth the reward?
Yeah.
And then that can help maybe make the decision. And then maybe people like me need to be willing to take a few more risks because they're just missing out on all the
Exactly. Yeah. It's like
fun.
finding the balance between those two. But yeah, I think the risk versus reward thing is something that we all need to think about a little bit more, ourselves included. Like just make sure that you're, showing up as best as you can, just like anything else in life. You wouldn't show up to, work, hopefully not feeling, your best. You would wait till you feel a little bit better. Yeah, make sure you're showing up and giving it a good opportunity to finish. And, I think that that is kind of something that I hope we start encouraging everyone else to do. Like a DNF is okay. Like maybe we need
Right.
another word for it. Maybe we need to
Right.
call it like the last unicorn standing or something. Like
Right,
maybe
right.
we,
I like that. It's funny because I was just talking to my son about he thinks we need to rename half marathons. He said because it made it lesser than the marathon.
yeah,
So then people they're like, well, then I'm going to do the marathon because that's the big thing. And
right.
then guess what? People started doing that, and then the ultra marathons came, so then it
Yeah.
became lesser. Like there's always
And but
something.
it's true because every time like and we do it too. I mean, I do it. Like if I'm at a race where there's long option and then a
Yes,
shorter option, if I'm doing the 50 miler and someone will ask me which race are you, oh, just the 50 miler.
yes,
It's
yes.
not
It's not
just the
just
50 miler, it's the 50 miler. Like
right,
or it's not just the 10K, it's a 10K. And I think
right,
we need to like there's not sure there's glory in these long distances, but it's not any more important than the, than the
right.
shorter
Exactly,
distances. Yeah,
exactly.
we need to like glorify those too. We need to be celebrating people making smart decisions on a
Yes.
race. We need to be celebrating shorter races because they're just as important. And oftentimes, I think shorter races are way harder because I'm pushing
I think
myself
so too.
more.
I always say like I'd rather step up to a 100-mile race than a 5K.
Me too.
5Ks
Any
are
day of the
hard.
week. Any day of the week, you can catch me at a 100 miler versus a 5K. They're so hard. But yeah, we need to like just kind of celebrate being smart in races versus, at all cost mentality.
Yep.
I mean, really, we don't mean all costs. Like, it's good in theory when you're just kind of being a baby and you just want to be done.
Yes, yes.
But,
Yep.
but at all costs, when you're actually not feeling well, your body's shutting down. I mean, if you really think about what we're doing to ourselves in a long race, even during a marathon, I mean, there's so much research of how long it actually takes to
Right,
recover from a marathon. And I don't want to speak numbers because I'll get it wrong, but the amount of time that your body down to the muscle fibers needs to recover from even just 26 miles
right.
is a long
Just.
time, just 26 miles. But like you think about 100 plus miles and
Right,
it's a whole lot on our bodies. So we've got to just be a little smart out there for sure.
right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, a lot of times, like, we're not prepared even on the gear side. So maybe you show up to, I don't know, a cold weather race and you might not have invested enough in the gear that you're needing to bring.
Hmm.
That could be deadly. That could be frostbite, all of the all of the above.
Right. Yeah.
Or on the other side, a really hot race, or on a I've known so many people to try and run like a really rugged trail race in road shoes, and then their shoes just fall apart. Then what?
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, so you just gotta kind of be prepared about all sorts of different areas of what we are gonna be facing against. But and these things are expensive too. So like maybe you don't have all the gear that you need to get to your cold weather race. Like, is it worth risking it to show up and freezing? No, you've got to
Right.
be realistic with that too. So just be
Yeah.
smart.
And I think that's another good point you bring up. Sometimes people make the decision whether they move forward with running a race based on the fact that they spent a lot of money for that race.
Right.
I think sometimes we have to weigh that out. Like, is that
Yeah.
really a good reason
No,
to do it? You know, it's
no,
money, but
it's
is
money.
that a good reason?
Yeah, and I know like when you sign up for races now, I think even on Ultra sign up, it'll offer you a like
I saw that
an insurance.
protection. Yeah,
Yeah. And it's cheap. Buy it. You
right,
never know what life's gonna throw at you. But I think it's a way of kind of not saying like no refunds, this is it. Like I think
right,
this is a way of protecting people from showing up when they're not prepared.
right,
And then as ultras grow, you also don't want people to just show up because their money is in it because there's so many people on a wait list too. And
right.
you can
Exactly.
you can give up your place for someone that is prepared and is ready to be there and have their dream, and you're probably gonna, either hurt yourself, get injured worse, or just quit,
Right,
5 miles in when someone else
right.
could really use that opportunity. So don't let the money be the factor. If you are worried, if you're going to be ready, reach out to a race director before you even sign up and say, hey, what's your policy on if I have to drop? A lot of them will have like a date you need to drop by to get the full refund or half refund type of thing,
Yeah,
or whether it's a rollover. But if money is like something that you're really concerned about in an ultra, kind of just have a plan going into it in case you need to dip out of it.
absolutely. And some races will even allow you, if you need to drop, if you go and volunteer to get the
Hmm.
credit for the race, so you can sign up at a later date as well.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many options because I think, again, like a lot of all 99.9% of race directors are really, really kind people. They're runners themselves and they just want to see you finish.
Right,
Like
exactly.
they just want to see you finish something. I just did, oh, it's the shirt I'm wearing actually. Shout out to them. It's
Nice.
this local small race I did a couple weeks ago. They had a bunch of different distances and they had anywhere from 100K. I did the 50K, not just, I did the 50K. And they had like half and shorter distances as well. But even at the beginning of the race, they were like, we want everybody to finish. I don't care if you drop during the race, finish one of the distances and tell us so
Oh,
we can give you
nice.
your medal.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So, like, if I signed up for the 100K and I called it at 10K, tell them you're getting a medal.
Right. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, because again, all the stuff's already ordered. There's dates on all of these things. Like it doesn't like a lot of these. This is a runner who put on the race. Like a lot of these people are runners. They don't want. What does it make a difference to them if you go home and you're like they want you to finish. They don't want you to go
Right.
home bummed. Like you
Right.
paid to be
Exactly.
there. Like we're all really nice people for the most part. But yeah, I think it's just something that maybe we can start spreading around the community of runners. And I've heard more and more people talk like this, but I feel like we were in a little bit of a toxic space of like that like DNF, like never, like do not
Right.
do
Yep.
it
Yep.
at all
Kind of like a
costs
stigma
mentality.
if you DNF
If you
type thing.
don't, yeah,
Yeah.
and people are so ashamed. And why are you ashamed? You gave it your all and you made a
Right.
smart decision. We don't need to be shaming people for making smart
Right,
decisions.
right. I mean, and to me, like just getting to the start of a line on a start line is huge.
Yeah,
Just
it's
getting
huge.
there, and
Yeah,
putting in the training and getting to that that starting line is big enough in
exactly.
itself. You
Yeah, I
know,
mean, all the things that we've touched on, like the training, first of all, but then all of the logistics, all of the money you spend on hotels and getting your family there
yeah,
and, showing up an hour before, longer than that. You've got to wait in porta potty
right,
lines, like
right.
showing up 2 hours before a race. Like you worked hard to get there. So,
Yes,
honor it. And, if you need to reroute, but don't negate all of the things that you did to get there. Like all of that matters and all of it
absolutely.
is something that you can take with you on the next race. Like what I like to do with my athletes and myself, even if like the race didn't go, and I know you do this too, the race didn't go as planned or they have to stop early or whatever it is, write down positives first. Like you
Hmm.
can think about that. You'll beat yourself up about that for days to come.
Right,
Think about every single positive thing in the moment that you did that you're proud of. I stopped and I'm still healthy. I'm still
right.
in one piece. I didn't break my ankle. It's still attached. I had some great nutrition goals that I met. I had great hydration goals that I met. I tried a new pair of shoes that I wasn't sure were going to be great, but they ended up being wonderful. Like
Yeah,
whatever it is, like start writing down your positives about the experience. That way you're not completely just focused on I didn't finish or it didn't go well or
absolutely.
whatever.
Absolutely. I like to, tell athletes to think about getting to the race as a celebration of your fitness. And no matter
Yeah.
what happens that day, you are moving towards your fitness, right? You're
Yeah.
using like getting up to be a better you, right? Every day because you put in all of that training. That's just
Yeah.
one time, which is a very small, teeny tiny bit of time compared to all of the training that you put in it and that you
Yeah.
put for yourself, right? To make yourself
Exactly.
stronger. And so I like to think
Exactly.
of that. And then also, like you said, like thinking about those process goals. There's so many goals we're trying to put into place to make a race
Hmm.
turn out well, right? With those nutrition and those hydration and gear and all of the things have to like line
Yeah.
up perfectly. We practice
Exactly.
all of those, and if you can nail some of those, even if you don't finish or don't get your finish time, that's a win
Yeah.
in my book, right? That
Such a
you've
win.
gotten that. And then I think about these races as being like a great thing. So I collect these little tools to put into my toolbox for my next race
Yep.
because I'm like, oh, that happened here. What can I do to change
Yep.
it next time? And you see this
Yep.
happening with people that have been running hundreds of races. They still have
Yeah.
new learning experience. I mean, like you're a great example because you've run so many races. You're still learning things
I
at
learn
races,
things
you
all the
know?
time.
Yeah, you
All the
never stop
time.
learning.
Oh my gosh. I recently learned that, I mean, this is just a silly one, but I did a really hot race a couple months ago. And it was one where you lapped your cooler. So you had your own
Oh,
stuff.
okay. Yep.
And I am telling you, the way that frozen Gatorade just brought me back to life. And that's something that I had forgotten. But like freeze your Gatorade and then drink it in 90-degree weather as a slush, the
Amazing.
best. The best. But things can be little like that or they can be really big. Like maybe something chafes you that never chafes you, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden it
Yep.
chafes you because that happens.
Yep.
Like
It happens to me all the time. Just when I think I
so
have all
yeah.
the chafe spots, another one
I
crops
know.
up.
That happened to me on a training on the other day. I think it was just more humid out. I don't know. And all of a sudden, just chafing on my arms. So I'm like, what is going on? I wear this shirt all the time, but I won't forget that. So now I'm not going to wear that shirt in a race because I don't want
Right.
to risk it. So
Yep.
you're just
Yep.
constantly learning and adjusting on all of these goals that you're hitting and anything that you can kind of think of in a race. But try and shift any sort of DNF into a what did I learn? Not did I not finish? What did I learn? How can I be better? How can I show up stronger?
Yep.
Um, Always give yourself a grace period of like 2 weeks where you don't sign up for a race because that's all of our immediate response.
Right. Right. Yep. Yep. I'm gonna get redemption next weekend.
Yeah, it's like, no. I think a lot of people, while we're just on it, I think a lot of people, myself included, like once you stop a race, because your body is so in it and you're in so much pain, and you make that decision, the right decision, you know it's the
Right.
right decision. I will have athletes tell me, I made the right decision. I'm like, okay, then you
Yep.
have to leave it there.
Yep.
Then a week goes by and they're like, I could have finished, I could have done this. I'm like, it's easy to say now you're on your couch, like you're not
Exactly.
in it.
Exactly. You've
Like,
kind of forgotten. I always kind of talk about these
hmm
races as a little bit like giving birth. You like you forget after you
hmm
get given birth, and next thing you know, you're gonna have another baby.
Another
Like
baby.
you
Yeah. It's
forgot the
like,
pain, but it was
but
there.
your
It
body,
was
yeah.
real.
And that's how our bodies are designed. We're designed to forget these experiences or would never do them again, you know?
Right.
Like
Exactly.
it
Yes.
doesn't mean that you were actually, wrong. It just
Right.
means that your body's recovered and you feel better and it's actually made the right decision. So don't
Exactly.
second guess that.
Exactly. Honestly, I don't think I've had a DNF that I didn't make the right decision.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I wish I didn't have to make that decision,
Hmm.
and I have ideas of how I would have fixed it maybe, but at that point
Yeah.
in time, that was the decision
That
that
was the right
needed
decision
to
that
be
you had to
made.
make.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you have to be confident in that. So whenever you get to that decision, you have to make it and then you have to start, I don't know, quote unquote, healing from it. Because if you
Right.
start dwelling on it, you're just going to be miserable. You can make
Right.
yourself miserable thinking about the what ifs. Like
Yes.
anything in life, once you make a decision, you have to be so confident in that decision that you can accept it, move on from it, talk about it. Like it's like the five stages of grief, probably.
Yes, it
Like,
is. It is for sure.
but it's so important to just think about it and move on. And I know we've talked about DNFs before, but you've got to be confident that you made your decision, you made it right, and then just move on. Just
Yeah.
move on.
So let's
Yeah.
wrap it up with just a few takeaways. What's some takeaways you want people to have?
I want people to let's start with the mentality of it's okay to stop. It's
Yep.
okay to protect yourself and your body and, your sound of mind. Make sure you're just making the right decision for you. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right. And to go along with that, I think supporting our community and our
Hmm.
fellow runners who do make that decision and
Yeah.
celebrating that that was the right decision, celebrating that
Yeah.
they're listening to their body and they're making the call that's best for them in that moment.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and maybe we can, I think you shared it on the pod, or maybe I asked you, but I won't say the name, but one of our coaches had trained really hard for a race, male coach, you know who I'm talking about, and chose to not start. And I messaged you and I was
Oh
like, oh,
yeah.
what happened? Perfect example. Kudos.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I think he had some sort of little injury that was
Yes.
bothering him.
Yep.
Probably could have won the race and decided to not start, you
Right.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Kudos
mean,
to that.
and like, yeah, and that was huge. Like, really an elite runner, and
Hmm.
decided that, it's going to set me back more if
Hmm.
I get to this start line than if I sit this one out. And
Yeah.
made that smart call, which was a really hard call because he had been training for it, and
Yeah.
he probably would have had a great race, and he was,
Hmm.
would have been one of the elite runners at the race,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yet,
Had a good
but he
shot at
was
it.
smart. So, anybody can make that call, even though it's hard and there's
Yeah.
a lot of pressure, especially when you're in the
Yeah.
public eye. It can be a lot of pressure. But
Yeah.
like
I
you
can.
said
Yeah.
earlier, most people don't know that they have no idea who's ever DNF'd or if you've
Yeah.
DNF'd. We feel
I
like
don't
it's written
care.
like on our forehead,
On
but
our
it's really
foreheads, like
not.
stopped mile 90
Yes.
for no reason. No. No, seriously. So yeah, I think those takeaways show up if you need to not show up to a race, figure out a solution, volunteer, drop down, push it a year, all of those things. And then yeah, I think the big thing we can all do is just support the community in you don't need to, hurt yourself to cross the finish line. I think that
Right.
there's a lot more that you can be celebrated along the way. I would much rather have a really strong race I'm proud of than one that I'm just dying. Like
Right.
I don't want to suffer. We all love suffering, which is why we do this, but there's a point where it doesn't become fun anymore.
Right, absolutely. And I think also, being that sounding board for that person that's, didn't get the training in that they needed or should have gotten in. And if they come to
Hmm.
you and they say, should I get on the starting line and I haven't done any training, be that
Yeah.
voice of reason and, to
Yeah.
help them. Because I would hope, Lindsay, when I reach out to you and ask you if I should run something, you would really say like, Loretta, don't even think about it.
Yeah. But thankfully, I know that you wouldn't even ask me if you hadn't trained. Yeah, but definitely. And then light way to end it on the other side of things, if you have shown up to your training day in and day out and you're thinking about, pulling the trigger on a race and you know that you're ready, have confidence that you're ready.
Yeah, do it. Trust your training. Do it. Go out
Trust
there and
your
have fun.
training.
Take the
Yes,
pressure off yourself. Do
exactly.
you really need to have goals or just,
Have fun.
that is something I should probably bring up because that is one thing that got me to the last start line. Instead of putting the
Hmm.
pressure on myself, my goal was to just, have a great day and to execute a
Hmm.
good race. It wasn't based
Exactly.
on, anything specific as far as goals. And I think that really
Yeah.
helped me
Yeah.
relax in the race and just have a
Hmm.
great race. I mean, I really did
Yep.
crush my race. And I
Yeah.
think part of it was I just took some of that internal pressure off of
Off
myself
of yourself.
by
Hey,
reframing my day.
yeah, you just wanted to have fun.
Um,
My friends make fun of me because like they say it's like pulling a string on my back. I just say I'm just here to have fun. But it's my way of getting my pressure off myself.
Yes,
Like
yes,
if I do well, great, but I don't want to be stressing myself out going into something. I'm just here to have fun. That's my
yes.
motto.
Because most
And
of most of the pressure is not external. Most of it's all internal.
yeah. Yeah, and if you're there having fun, you're probably going to do pretty well.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Any other
Awesome.
takeaways, or you think we covered it?
I think we've covered. I mean, we could go on and on about nutrition, hydration, being smart about that, but we touched on it.
Yep,
It's a big world of nutrition and hydration. If you're unsure, work with a coach, work with a nutritionist
yep,
about race day nutrition. Ask all the questions because it is like a puzzle science piece you got to put together and figure out what works for you best and what's smart, what's not smart, that kind of thing.
absolutely.
But yeah, I think that those are great takeaways. And, let's just kind of celebrate the stopping early parts of races.
Right. Well, I'm just going to put a quick plug in for Ornery Mule coaching. Like, if you are thinking of doing an event and you want to get to the starting line strong and ready and confident, sign up with one of our coaches. We can help get you there so that you're not second guessing yourself on race day to get to the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone can benefit, and we all are love to work with all levels of people. We've got some other really great coaches on the board, and everyone's just so helpful and has a ton of experience among all sorts of levels, distances, you name it.
Yep.
Ornery Mule has it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and recently I've been getting a lot of inquiries for people that are starting to get ready for fall races. So if you're one
Ah,
of those people, reach out because Hennepin is coming quick, Tunnel Hill's coming quick. Those
yeah,
big fall races will be here before you know it.
exactly. That's really exciting too.
Yes.
Awesome.
All
All
right.
right. Well, thank you all for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.